Okay, we're going to look at the next stage, which is adding in another form, a second form, and then opening the form using this button that we've created, the Start Quiz button. We'll also have a look at how we can pass data between forms. So at the moment, we've got our main quiz form. We've got a label, a line, a label, a text box, and a button. We've been through and we've changed some of the properties. One of the most important properties was the name, and so each of these controls now has a sensible, useful name. For example, the label LBL title, or for the button BTN Start Quiz. So we've got these names, and it's very important that from now on we use sensible names. So as we create controls, we're not only changing properties, for example changing the appearance, but also giving them sensible names. It's very easy to forget this, but just in the same way that your identifiers in a console application need to be sensible, useful. Remember, going back to structured programming, we need to have sensible names for the controls. Right, so the first thing we need is a second form. To add in a form, we need to go to the Solution Explorer in the top right. On Quiz Program, if I right click, I can add a Windows form. I now have a long list of all these different things that you want, but we just want a Windows form. I can down here, I can give it a name. Now this is going to be the quiz question form. So there we go, quiz question. It's a Windows form. Click Add. Again, looking at the Solution Explorer in the top right corner, I said initially that we would use this a bit more. One of the reasons we're using this is to move between forms. You can see now we have the main quiz form and we have the quiz question form. So there's two forms. In the workspace area in the middle, there are tabs now along the top. So I can swap between the first quiz form and the second, the quiz question form. So you can just move between them. If one of these is closed, for example, I've closed down that main quiz form, I can open by double clicking. And there again, I've got them both open. So if you do lose one, use the Solution Explorer to open them up. Alright, let's go to the quiz question. I'm going to drag it out a bit. Let's just put a simple label on that's going to say quiz questions. I'm not too bothered about how this looks at the moment, because I just want to show how we open the form. So we're just going to put quiz questions there, and we'll know that we're on the second form. If we go back to main quiz form, what we now have to do is do some coding, and we're going to do some coding based on this button. So I'm going to double click. I've got the button, I double click. This takes me to the code. Now, if you look along the top of this workspace, we've got mainquizform.vb, and we've also got mainquizform.vb design and quiz question design. The design, that's the form. That's us drawing out what the form looks like. When it doesn't have the word design in square brackets, we're looking at the code. Now, Visual Basic is different to what we've done so far. We've used an imperative high-level language, VB.NET, which starts in main, and it executes the first line and goes through sequentially, line after line. That's one of the theory topics we had to learn. VB Forms is different. It's an event-driven programming language. It doesn't execute in the same way. It doesn't just start, there isn't just a long list of code and it starts at the top and works through. It executes code based on events happening. Events are things like clicking a button. You see here the private sub, so this is just a subroutine, a procedure, but this executes when the user clicks the button Start Quiz. So that's the event, the click. You can see lots of other events by just above this. There's two drop down boxes at the top. One has the control name and one then has the related events, and you can look through them. There's lots and lots of different events. We're probably not going to use many of them, particularly for buttons, and mainly we're going to use click. But there are other things you can use, such as mouse hover, mouse enter. So if you move the mouse on top of the button, you don't have to click, you just move the mouse on top of the button. That is an event, and we could write some code to execute it under that circumstances. But let's stick to the easy stuff. We're just going to click the button. Now what we want to do on click button is quite simply is quiz question. So I don't want to do that. I want to tell it it's a form. Quiz question show. Oh no, I don't. Quiz question dot show. That's what I meant all along. So all that says, ignoring my mistakes, is quizQuestion.show. And when I click this button, it will show the form quiz question. So let's go and have a go at it. Let's go back to the main form. There we go, and let's execute the program. First thing that happens is the quiz window appears, so I can enter my name like I did before. Now nothing's going to happen. Nothing's happening. I've typed my name in. I haven't actually got any code based on me entering the name or anything. Nothing will happen until I click on the one event that I've created code for, and that's the user clicking the start button. So when I click on the start quiz, it opens the second form, quiz questions. And that's it. There's some very simple code in VB.